Look at this beautiful leg of lamb. We're going to need to trim away all the fat and the sinew from it in order to portion it out. This is a great money saver as well. But to do that, unlike the chicken where we needed the flexible boner to get around all those little nooks and crannies, I need a stiffer blade to cut across through these big sections of fat. That's a safety issue as well. I'm going to take our flexible boner and I'm going to add it to our batch of knives here that are in our must-have list. If I had to pick one bony knife, it would be a flexible one because it does more jobs. But for this job, I'm going to use the stiff one. Now, the first thing that I want to do is I want to be able to see the musculature of the meat so I can break it down into the primal groups. And I've got this big fat cap on this side, and I've got a lot of sinew and silver skin on the other. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to start trimming. And I can tell by my first cut how deep the fat is. And I just keep trimming and I don't stop until I see all the muscles. And I think you can see already as I do this, the silver skin dividing these big muscle groups. And those little lines of silver skin are the connective tissue that divide the pieces of meat that we want to portion. So we use those as our guidelines. All this fat and meat trim that I'm taking away from here, you can trim again and render down for stew meat or braising. Use it to make a wonderful lamb stock. Or grind it up for shepherd's pie or some other meat preparation. And as you see here, you can almost see already these beautiful muscle groups. Now I'm going to go flip down to the other side. And I'm going to cut away some of these pieces. This piece of meat right here is down by the lower end near the ankle of the animal. And one of the best things for that is to grind it up or use it for stew. It's very tough and it requires long braising. The primary piece of meat that we're trying to get out here is this one. And it's called the top round. And it's the muscle from the top of the rear leg. And we can just cut this away right here. And you can see you can almost move some of these pieces apart with your fingers as well. And again, I'm just letting the knife do most of the work for me. This small muscle in here is one of my favorites because it looks just like the lamb loin. Isn't that beautiful? Again, here's a piece that's better suited for stew. Here's another piece that's better suited for stew. I'll segregate those from the fat. And by trimming these up and taking all the silver skin off, you see the way I'm just pulling that and letting the knife do the work? I have these beautiful pieces of meat. Some of these smaller primals can just be cubed and put on skewers for shish kebab. Cut this piece away. Or they can just be marinated and thrown on the grill and then sliced at 60% less than the price of boneless lamb loin. And what you now have is all sorts of different cuts of lamb that are suitable for the grill or saute pan or oven roasting and then slicing. And what we're left with over here on our trim plate are all the pieces of fat with a little bit of meat attached, which is great for making stocks and sauces and things like that once the fat's rendered away. And we have these other pieces of meat here that are too sinewy to throw on the grill and slice or roast in the pan, but are really great to trim down again, cube, and use for stews or other braised dishes like that.